This is a HeadGum podcast. Begin. Hello, this is Fake the Nation, where we talk about news, we talk about culture, and where we realize in a rather stressful fashion that we have done nothing to get our real ID, and the deadline is here. I'm your host, Negin Farsad, and oh my God, who else is with me and lugging around a passport? Because I haven't done anything with the real ID. So anyways, everyone alert TSA. Today, we'll talk about whether you're nice to your AI. We'll ask if Gen Z is the most gullible generation. We'll look at Trump's latest on Alcatraz, movies, Canada, and the Constitution. And finally, there's some real-life Jurassic Park shit going on. Are you into the resurrection of long-extinct species? Oh, you guys, today's panel. What just a gorgeous panel we have assembled for you today. For the first time coming on the show, I'm so excited for this guy. He's a comedian, he's a storyteller, he's got this solo show going up at Joe's Pub. It's called Coming Out to Dead People, and I'm so excited about it. Is the one and only Rick Sim. Hey!
Hey, Negin. Hey, thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
So great to have you. I am also joined by a veteran of Fake the Nation, and some people, is it veteran? Alum is maybe a better word. I always say veteran, but then it makes you sound like,
I think whatever keeps you
like
from having to say you
combat.
roped me in early on at one point.
He was roped in early on at
your
one
desperation
point.
Started earlier to invite Havlan more than once.
JR, by the way, has the dubious distinction of being like the first person to ever teach me comedy writing. Like I never took a class or anything, even though I was a
I would have
theater
thought
major.
you had taken one class before you took mine.
Is that how good I was?
That's how good you were.
Jesus
like
Christ.
a class, I thought like this girl has dropped out of at least one other comedy writing class.
Oh, what a compliment. No, I had it. You were my first, and you know what?
With Aziz Ansari.
You're one of the best.
No?
With Aziz Ansari, that's
Yeah.
right. Me and Aziz,
Josh,
and several other people
yeah.
who all actually are in the business.
Rachel Axler?
I mean, you had a fucking killer set of people.
Yeah, that was
I
a good
don't
group.
include myself in that, but just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, the reason he's such a good comedy writer, you guys, is because he put in a fucking fuck ton of years
Oof,
in
that's a
all
lot of profanity. And that's not how I describe it to my children.
at The Daily Show and many other
Dad,
TV
how long
shows.
did you work at The Daily Show?
A fuck
ton of years, son.
Yeah. That's what
Now,
that's
sleep-
their show
sleep
and
tight.
tell. Yeah. It is the excellent JR Havlan. Hey, JR.
Hi, how are you? Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to turn my intro into a 15-minute, performance piece.
But that was fun. All right, folks, let's get into it with topic number one. Apparently saying please and thank you to your ChatGPT wastes millions of dollars in operation expenses. And like whatever, with all due respect, who cares? Because they're all millionaires, and that's not what I'm concerned about. What I am concerned about, though, is the energy wasted from the politesse is actually further destroying the environment. Like we already have an AI is destroying the environment issue, and now we have it. If you're nice to AI, you're even making it worse, which is weird. I guess first of all, JR, we'll start with you. How nice are you in your queries?
I'm not. I long ago changed Alexa or Siri to just bitch. Bitch, what's the temperature today?
Yeah. No, apparently that's like a really common. I mean, it's where people get their
I
aggressions.
anticipated it was going to have to do too much thinking if I was nice to
Right,
it.
of course.
But which I don't really entirely understand. I mean, I read all the articles you send me.
Yes, of course
on
you
a
do.
daily
Yep.
basis.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I like it's just that it has to. It's processing that word, so it takes up that much more. Like the amount of extra energy is
exactly.
seems
So like
insane.
just adding a please and a thank you or whatever to or wording it in a way that's just where there's more decorum actually makes the process more energy consumptive.
You got to talk to a robot like a robot, otherwise the robot freaks out.
Well, no, I mean the thing is they actually you're also training them on being polite. I mean, Ricky, sorry.
Oh, Ricky is fine. Yeah.
Ricky. Oh, okay, it's fine. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Stumbled into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
So,
know,
yeah.
When I read that, I was just like, "Is whoever wrote that? Are they like against the Asian and Asian language? Because Asian languages are very polite. It's like we have to like be, it's built into our language system, right? So like if they worry about the iceberg or environmental issue, I don't know, like ask the ChatGPT how to figure it out to adapt to it. And I guess my question is like, is it the part that where they need to ask the system to figure out the nice words like please, like are they trying to ask them to figure out, oh, do the person say please mean sarcastically or directly?
Well, right. I mean, I think the idea is that just like the additional words, like, so if you just said, what's the price of eggs versus please can you tell me what is the price of eggs, thank you so much, the additional words are the AI has to process them, right? So it's a kind of like cheaper. And Sam Altman, by the way, says, and I know everyone in here is such a Sam Altman fan. Huge. Love the guy. What a teddy bear. What a teddy bear. But he's lost tens of millions of dollars on, this is what he says, on people being nice. And again, obviously, I think someone like Sam Altman is more concerned with how much money he's lost. But it's really about the processing power that wastes energy, which is already melting every iceberg.
Yeah, but then they always put it into these odd terms. Like, I can't remember exactly what they said in the article, but it's sort of like, if just by saying please and thank you, that takes up, if everybody did one search a week and said please and thank you for a year, that would take up as much energy as it costs to, or as it takes to have lights on in all the houses in Norway for 3 months or something, which means nothing. I have no idea what that means. I'm reading that. I was like, oh, that's horrible. I don't know what that is.
Well, what you need to do response to that is then put into ChatGPT, what does it mean for the lights to be on in Norway for a month or whatever, and then waste more energy on figuring out what that all means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like, 14 chickens with 17, PlayStations.
Yes.
That's over a 10-month period during daylight savings.
Okay, so the bigger question is, knowing that some amount of electricity that means nothing to you, put in Norwegian terms. Okay.
It's that I can't compute what it is, but it does seem like it's significant.
But it's significant, But the point is, that's like given that Norway is like some sized country.
It is. Accurately described.
It is the size of something. Right. Knowing that.
How many? You have to put it in football fields for me to understand.
Right. That's our typical
I'm an
metric.
American, yeah. Come on.
But so knowing that Norway is like some sized country, and that there's a significant expenditure of energy because of these polite inquiries, does it make either of you want to change the way you phrase your AI queries?
No. I mean,
you would rather still be polite.
I would rather still be polite. I mean, I'm from Malaysia, and I don't know. That's just part of my daily communication interaction. Because ChatGPT can be used in other languages too, right? And I'm not saying it has to be super honorific and polite all the time. But I feel like, I don't know, like using words like please and thank you.
Are nice.
It's not just nice, but it could mean something, right? I don't
right.
I don't know. I would still use it. Yeah.
With humans, sure. But I don't know anybody. First of all, I don't really use it that much. I'm 60.
All right. Here. Okay.
So yeah. So you're not looking at its core user.
Your reason for not using is I'm 60.
Yeah. And I'd rather just
people loved it when Joe Biden said stuff like that.
I guess I don't unless just searching for stuff is also using it, which it basically is. I don't use Siri and Alexa that much.
By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this on the pod before, but did you know that there's a gender divide on who uses it? Apparently women use it a lot less. Women and J.R. Havlan use it a lot less than men. In general, I don't know. Ricky,
does that include Google searches? I mean,
they build in the.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because that's Google searches AI.
Now. Yeah,
they do. Yeah. Right, that's right. I mean, I guess you're accidentally using it.
And who types in please tell me what the weather's going to be. Thanks very much.
Ricky.
Appreciate it.
Ricky types that in. Look
Ricky
at how
does,
fucking nice Ricky is. Of course he types that in. All right. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
But I do think that I like that Ricky wants to stay nice, and I want to be with, and I'm with you, Ricky. Let's stay nice. Okay.
I have friends who literally would just use AI. Like I have a lot of gay friends who just like, I'm gay, right? And I have friends who use AI to just be like, like can you tell like whether I looks like a top, bottoms, and worst, like things like that.
Right.
I don't know. Sometimes they want to be nice, before getting the response, just to get that more humane side interaction.
Yeah. We actually talked about this on Way Don't Tell Me, and I think the consensus was be nice to your captors because eventually they're gonna take over, right? So there you go. All right, here we go. The next little cultural topic that we're going to dip our toes into is that researchers at Stanford conducted a study where they showed over 3,000 teens a video claiming that there was voter fraud in the United States, but it was actually a video of voter fraud in Russia. But of the over 3,000 students who watched this video, only 3 teens succeeded in identifying that the video was a hoax. And all you needed to do to identify that was JR's favorite, a Google search. And so, I mean, the numbers here are pretty staggering. Only 3 kids out of over 3,000 took the extra step to realize that the video was garbage.
You mean to even research whether or not?
Yeah, they just took the video as truth. These 3,000 something kids saw this video and they were like, yep, that's true. There was voter fraud in the United States. And then 3 of those kids researched it one extra step, which is literally they just Googled it. And in that Googling, they've learned that it was a video was a hoax. So I don't know. I mean, JR, you have kids. This is maybe, the most online generation. And they're also the worst at discerning fact from fiction, according to this one study. Oh, what does this track for you?
This is Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, which my kids are, but on the younger end.
Okay.
My kids are 13 and 15.
Okay.
And I think that's Gen Z.
Yes, I think so. I don't know. Yeah.
And no, I don't know. I don't think that my kids use their computers like quite that much outside of school and stuff. My son watches a lot of YouTube videos, but he'll watch a lot of YouTube videos on like architecture and stuff like that. I'm sure there's other stuff in there that I don't know about, but like they're not just doing random TikTok like 4 hours a day or something.
Right.
Which has really been their choice. We're not sitting there saying like don't do this.
Oh.
But
I mean, you're lucky, dude.
So I don't know that they I think they're also like getting good educations. They're good students. I think they're being taught outside of our own lessons that particularly in this day and age, what with kids today, that you can't really just take anything just at face value. You have to kind of check up on it a little bit. And so I think they're more probably along those lines, and that they may have looked into it. I'm curious as to whether or not, like, looking at the video, was there not did one kid have a USSR hat on or something? You know what I mean? Like, was there no giveaway? Was there one guy dancing with like squatting and his feet coming out and with a big furry hat on?
Were they taking out nesting dolls during the entire video?
I didn't know they had that in Cleveland.
Just eating bowls of borscht. Is that Russian or
just
is that Hungarian?
Borscht and
just
voting.
So much borscht.
That should be the name of a store.
I think. Well, okay. I don't know. I didn't look. I haven't seen this video actually, but like, I think the idea is that if a video is viral or or like is suspect or something, are you going to take the extra step? Now, Ricky, you've probably been subject to videos like this, as we all have. I mean, do you feel like this makes sense? Would you take the extra step? Because I got to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I would. I just generally don't believe stuff. Like if I see it, I'm like, all right, we'll see. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily believe it. So I don't know. Where do you stand with that stuff?
I feel like I would but that's also because like I grew up like when we, in school, we learn that, we have to cite, do the citation, we have to make sure that things are actually legit as a source. I don't know. I feel like the article is a little bit overreaching when they kind of make a conclusion that Gen Z is branded as the most gullible generation. I don't think they're gullible. I think they're just tired. They're fucking.
Wait, are you Gen Z?
I'm
Are
not
you Gen Z?
I,
you're not. Okay.
Thank you. I wish I am. But
you don't look a day over Gen Z.
But yeah, I don't think they are gullible. I think they are just tired. They are just being bombarded with all the information.
Yeah. Right.
So them not taking a step to do another layer of research and fact checking. It's just the environment that they grew up in, and maybe the most diligent to them, right, to fact check is click on the comment box and see what other people say and how many people like that comment. That must be true, right? Maybe that's probably the way that they do fact check this day, right, based on whatever video that goes viral. And I don't know. I feel like it's not gullible is not the right word, but it's like it's just overexposed and tired and yeah.
See, here's Ricky being nice again. These kids are idiots. This Ricky guy's too nice.
Yeah.
With his Gen X, his low-end Gen X.
I have my Gen Z niece and nephew, so I need to...
Yeah.
You're protected. Yeah. No, I mean, I think, okay. I mean, again, I don't know. This is one study.
It is.
And I think you're probably right that right now, there's like little micro differences within the generation, because if your kids are learning something, that just means that 5 years ago when these kids were 13 or whatever, they weren't doing as much news literacy. And I think now they actually are doing more news literacy because it's such a huge problem. Like, it just feels like every year the goalpost on news literacy changes.
Well, I think it's what Ricky is talking about as far as education in general. When you go through a system or you end up with certain teachers, or you're paying enough attention to understand that the value of research and the value of confirming certain facts and stuff to the best of your knowledge, then you realize that, like, if you see something like that, you don't want to be embittered necessarily through your entire life, but you have to kind of question everything. And I don't think there's ever been the case where that hasn't been the case. It's just that now there's so much more of it coming from everywhere. But there's also that also makes it that much easier to confirm or deny something. That you can just do a couple of little simple searches and find out what's going on. The weird thing is, I didn't see the video they're talking about. I really don't know. Like, what did they show these kids?
I think it's more the idea. Okay, so another example
they gave. Was it a news report with an accent?
I think it was like footage of people at a polling station. But another example that they gave, which I thought was really interesting, was that there was a period where some young people were seriously questioning the life story of Helen Keller, that she wasn't deaf and blind and that was a lie. She was living a lie. And so those are some of the stories that sort of go out there and that end up permeating like a lot of these Gen Z users of TikTok and whatever. And I'm like, that's the kind of story, if I saw that, I would be like, why are we questioning the deaf and blindness of Helen Keller? This is ridiculous. And I just feel like one of the things the article we read pointed out is that, like, if you're a little older, because you're more skeptical of the internet generally. So you always approach things with like a little bit of skepticism.
Probably.
So if I'm going to see a story about Helen Keller and it's like trying to debunk everything I've ever heard about Helen Keller, I'm like, this sounds ridiculous,
Yeah. I won't tolerate any Helen Keller bashing. Not in my house.
Yeah, I still remember when, back in high school, there was a time that I cannot cite anything that I research online. I have to actually go to the library and use the sources, right? So we kind of grew up in that era. But right now, like students and kids, they literally can use AI and ChatGPT to do the research. And I don't know.
And to maybe do some of this fact checking of like, is this real? Is this a hoax?
Yeah, but you can also, unfortunately, very easily confirm the wrong
hoax.
thing.
That's right.
Confirm the hoax. Well, it's not. That's the issue.
Just to sorry, you wanted to finish? Go ahead.
I was just gonna mention that because they also kind of grew up. The large part of their teen is during, I don't know, our great president who question everything. And,
right.
That also will play into a lot of like what is true, what is false in in their mind, and they eventually they're just gonna be tired and just like fizzle out and not gonna do any research, right?
Right. The culture from above has not been great in general. Okay, just to wrap this up, I want to remind people, I've talked about them before, but I'm a big fan of the News Literacy Project, and they have something called the Rumor Guard, which you could sign up to, and they're debunking rumors all the time, and it comes into your inbox, and I don't know, I just like to see what the ridiculous rumors are, how they're being debunked. So I highly recommend checking out the News Literacy Project and just generally supporting them, because they're trying to do exactly this for JR's children and other than JR's children.
I appreciate it.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue. Hey folks, I just wanted to remind you guys we're nearing the home stretch here where I part ways with HeadGum, and I would love your support in helping make this process smooth and easy and successful. You can go to patreon.com/Negin Farsad to support the show for as little as $4 a month. You get bonus episodes. There's another tier at $5 where you get even more bonus episodes. There's other tiers where you get a book and a mug and a t-shirt and all sorts of stuff. A customized bespoke pep talk from me to you or someone you love. So go to patreon.com/Negin Farsad to support the show. I really love how many people have come out to support the show. I'm so grateful. And I can tell that a lot of you really want the show to just continue to exist and thrive. And gosh, I really want to do that for you as well. And for me, I get so much out of it. So again, that's patreon.com/Negin Farsad. You guys are delightful. Thank you. And we are back, and we're ready for topic number 2. Okay, so Trump gave this interview, and I'm just going to go through, we'll call them highlights, and you let me know what you think. It was an interview he did on Meet the Press. First, he talked about movies. He wants to tariff movies that were made overseas, citing them as a national security concern. Now, JR, you're in the business. Does that sound just like it totally makes sense for you, or how does that work?
I don't know. I really don't know how it works, or how he intends to have it work, or if there's been any actual thought put behind it, which is kind of how everything, most things that he seems to discuss seem to they just come across as just literally like it's like the what is it, the dog in Up, that goes squirrel.
Yeah.
Does that Up? Like that's just how he comes across with kind of everything, and then he just reacts to something, and then just goes over to something else, and he doesn't have to say anything, because he doesn't really say anything in that interview, and in all these other interviews. Like there's so many clips of him where if you read what he's saying, you just can't even believe it. Somehow you've gotten used to hearing him speak in ways that completely go off on tangents and don't make any sense and don't wrap up any points. But when he's speaking, you're like, oh, I think he's doing that thing again. When you read it, it doesn't make any sense. And I think this is this kind of, it just falls into that category for me, that it's just nonsense. It's all a distraction. It's like smoke and mirrors to accomplish what? I don't even know. It's really befuddling. I mean,
because this is also one of those things where it's like, first of all, there's a lot of international co-productions. There's a lot of things that are like American, but parts of them are shot in Bulgaria or whatever. It's actually like, do you tariff the tickets? Do you tariff the producers? Do you tariff the theaters? Do you tariff the Netflix? Like who do you know?
Well, that's like, just it.
And none of it makes any sense.
I don't think he's sincere about any kind of details. It's like, I can't remember where I saw this clip, but it was, it seemed like a very reasonable sort of MAGA-ish person who was talking about how liberals don't understand where MAGA people are really coming from, and that the main thing is that they just want to troll liberals. They just want to piss off liberals. They don't care as much about what is actually going on as they do, like, let's just, if he's doing something out there to piss off liberals, then that's good with me. And it doesn't even matter what it is or what the consequences might be. And this just kind of falls into that category. It's sort of like the Alcatraz thing. I don't know how that really pisses off liberals, but it's complete nonsense.
I guess Ricky, we'll ask you about the Alcatraz thing, which is that like he talked about, using Alcatraz as a prison because it looked cool in the movies or whatever as a prison, which
it did. I mean, that Clint Eastwood, it was a good movie.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. It's not a movie that like ever registered in my mind, but
it's pretty good.
But for JR and for Donald Trump, but Ricky, what do you think of like that kind of thing of just how much do you pay attention to when he says stuff like movies and it makes no sense or Alcatraz?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with JR that, just one of those news headliner that he just kind of throw out there to the ether and see what sticks and what's distracting enough for people to pay attention while he's doing whatever he's focusing on, like that's under the radar, such as overturning Supreme Court cases, right? And compromising due processes for like people. I don't know. When I first read the news about tariff on movie made overseas, and my first thought was just like, well, so will Emily in Paris be coming back or
right. Right. It's Emily in Sheboygan now.
Well, Emily in Paris,
so
Texas.
What is going on? Like, how would that be enforced? Like with White Lotus just not gonna be, I don't know, just within, I don't know, Pittsburgh? Like, who knows, right? So yeah, I wasn't sure how that would be enforced, right? And but I think kind of like echoing what you're saying is that it's not sincere, but it's one of those things to kind of provoke people who want to hear this, or provoke people that he's targeting to think about, the movies movie industry has been globalized, right? So like he's taking a first step, albeit ineffective step, right? To do something about it. See, our president is taking first step to do something about it. So to them, it's like it's a act of, I don't know how to say it. It's like just signifying that like he's actually doing something, and that's enough for them to
pretending.
Well, and it's annoying because there's actually a really good conversation to be had about tax incentives in California and what they can do to bring back production. It's about 27% down production in California, which is a really big deal because places like LA are kind of like a one industry town, and so it hurts when there's fewer productions. So there could be like a really great kind of nerdy discussion about tax incentives, and that's not the discussion, right? And so because also he's obsessed with tariffs, like doesn't understand anyways the tariffs aren't necessarily the answer to everything.
But
so
it could be a good bargaining chips to his war on the culture, American culture, right? So like this is something that he I can hold on to this against like the artists, right? So yeah.
Well, let's move on to another highlight. So he fessed up in the interview that doesn't really know much about the Constitution or whether or not he should uphold it. He said, quote, "I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know," when asked about upholding the Constitution. He also said, though, that he does have a lot of lawyers. So I don't know, JR, what do you think about... I mean, does that concern you, or is this just like, again, I felt like so much of this interview was just noise, whatever, to get us talking. I mean, to get us talking about other stuff because the tariffs are gonna have started and now they're gonna start crushing everybody. So I don't know.
I think it's very dangerous. I think because it's part of his MO as well to just sort of play dumb when it's convenient, or play like I was just joking, which is a line that comedians hate from people who are not comedians.
Yeah.
So that something has gone terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that he operates, and it doesn't lead to good things, and it's just a distraction from things that matter. Things like, like arresting American citizens and sending them to El Salvador and pretending we have no control over bringing them back, and pretending it was in that interview where, that was a different interview where he the MS-15, the tattoo thing.
Oh, the MS-13, yeah.
Yeah, MS-13, the tattoo thing. The
MS-15 is like another level of that gang.
Yeah, that's
they're like the book club of that gang. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That he was insisting that the guy had tattoos, right, and they were loosely I don't even know if the interpretation of them was accurate in any way. To spell out MS.
There was like a Photoshop that
to say like this one means M,
yeah.
this one means that, and he just couldn't get that straight. And you think like, how is that even
like he
possible?
didn't understand that it was Photoshop. It is crazy because then you're like, oh my God, did you not understand Photoshop for the last 20 years? Or was it just this one thing that befuddled you? And then Kristen Welker kept being like, that's Photoshop.
No, it was a guy. This was not the same interview.
It was the ABC interview.
Right.
Terry Moran.
Yeah,
that's
Terry
right.
Moran.
That's right. That's right.
Who, frankly, I haven't even heard of you.
Yeah.
But I brought up a different interview, but he does the same kind of
he does that.
It's just all very distracting, and the thing that concerns me is that that in the meantime they're doing all of this other stuff. You talk about like he's talking about the Constitution. And I don't know. I'm a lawyer. I mean, it's like he's like the Phil Hartman caveman lawyer. I'm just a simple caveman. Do you remember? Like I don't know. I'm just a caveman, and that's like the vibe that he gives off. So that he doesn't have to explain anything, and he can just spout a bunch of nonsense, and then. In the meantime, when you're talking about the Constitution, the way that he's ignoring the other branches of government is incredibly destructive, including what on deporting like American citizens. There was a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, and that he ignored.
Right.
9-0. That's this Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That they just ignored, and you're not supposed to do that. I mean, very clearly not supposed to do that.
The interesting thing is, it's funny because there was another ruling from a lower court about whether or not they can freeze payments to Maine, and they relented on that because the court ruled, no, you can't freeze payments to Maine because whatever trans people exist in Maine or whatever the thing was, and they followed it. So they're like sort of, except for this instance. I mean, I might be wrong here, but there's like they kind of are following the court orders, but this one is obviously really shit because there's a guy plus a bunch of others that we don't know because they didn't get their due process in El Salvador that shouldn't be. So I don't know. I guess. Let me bring up another thing they talked about that wasn't in this interview, but Christine Noem announced that the administration is offering $1,000 to illegal immigrants who self-deport. Now, Ricky, are you an immigrant?
I mean, I'm an immigrant, yeah, but I'm a US citizen at the point, yeah.
Okay, great. No, I was born to immigrants. Whatever, you're in good company.
I have to say that now.
I know. They're gonna use this video image to figure out like where you are. Yes, okay, we're all U.S. citizens here. But Ricky, like, does it? So, what did you think of this offer that they would give illegal immigrant or undocumented immigrants to $1,000 to self-deport? What did you think of that kind of policy? As someone who, I mean, I have a lot of family who's come here through the various processes, both as refugees and through visas, other types of visas and green cards. So I'm curious to know what you think.
I mean, aside from the legality aspect of it, I'm just wondering, like, what does he think $1,000 can achieve?
Yeah,
like, it doesn't
well,
even.
it's a real nest egg he's handing over.
I think that he likes to measure things and how many dolls can be purchased, and so what can you? Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw like his weird obsession with dolls in this last week. Anyways, he keeps talking about like what the economy means for doll purchases.
No, I know it was one of the more like blatant, sort of like peeling back what is already a thinly veiled, viewpoint of class.
Yeah. And just like life.
The idea that I mean, it's like him and anybody who goes along with that like he can't even imagine the crazy number of people who can't afford a doll.
Right.
Like they go get a used doll.
Right. He thinks the options are you either buy 50 or you buy 3.
Yeah, you buy 3 that would cost what 40 might.
Right. right.
I mean, what's the issue?
So the idea that $1,000 to someone who's undocumented, again for him, and I think for everyone, for a lot of the people in that administration who have a lot of money, isn't clear. I will say this. It is cheaper to give them $1,000 in a plane ticket than to have them deported through the bureaucratic means.
Yeah, but all of those immigrants are going to take that $1,000 and go straight to the American Girl doll store. You know that. That's where you spend your money.
Wait, is it?
And what are you going to get for that? You're going to get like 1.5 dolls.
That's right.
And like a cute outfit and a comb.
That's right.
And the combs don't really work, not on all the dolls.
Because that's $1.5. That's you nailed the pricing on American dolls that are, I think, made in China.
They're heading straight there with that grand, and then they're going to be stuck here on the streets with an American Girl doll.
That's right. That's why you never give a homeless person $1. You give them a doll.
I also saw
Ricky.
that in an article. They said that they're going to build an app to track if people are going to return to their own country, and so that they confirm it. It's almost like, I don't know, Uber for deportation, kind of like.
That's that's right, an Uber for deportation.
So they're all going to be on like Find My? Is that?
Find My undocumented immigrant.
Find My to make sure they went back to wherever.
I mean,
wherever they came from.
I also just love the idea that they also think that everybody has a phone and apps and all that. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know again, but I will say one thing that's nice. What this felt like to me was a softening of the image from the last couple of weeks, or however long it's been with Abrego Garcia, that the administration seems so, and with the girl that had cancer and that whole thing, that the administration is so cruel. They're just kicking people out. They're sending them to El Salvador. They're doing the whole thing. And then they're like, oh, what if we came up with a policy that doesn't make us seem cruel, And that this feels like that policy that's like would be popular because the average person isn't going to be like, well, that's nice. I'd like $1,000. You know what I mean? That's what the average person's going to say.
Yeah, but that's not the underlying issue, though, right? The underlying issue is still sort of the due process or the lack thereof, right? For the for the people who's being targeted and being deported, right? And I think there's also the push for overturning the due process Supreme Court case so that they can keep the due process right away from non-citizens. Right.
Oh, Ricky, from your mouth to public opinion's ears, that you're right. That is not the underlying issue. The underlying issue is due process. Gosh darn it. All right, let us move on to topic number 3. Colossal Biosciences is a Dallas-based biotechnology company, and it's brought back the dire wolf. And this is where I like admit to both of you that I didn't realize that the dire wolf was an actual creature from our past. I thought it was just a fictional creature in Game of Thrones.
Sure didn't even bother confirming it on the internet. Fuck that. Why waste time?
I'm a Gen Z, guys, which is why I look so good.
It's for real,
and I'm so young. But it is the dire wolf is real. It's from 13,000 years ago, and Colossal Biosciences has brought it back. They're engaged in the de-extinction of species, including, like I said, the dire wolf, the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, and the dodo. Ricky, what do you think?
I have to be honest.
Sorry,
just in general.
There's something in my throat.
Just about stuff.
Like when I first saw this headline, I was just like, what animal have extinct? I actually don't know. I have to like go through it. Was it beside all the animals I saw in Jurassic Park? Like what else is extinct? I don't know. I mean, like,
right, because you're like between the dinosaurs and now, what have we lost?
Right,
like
what have we lost? Like,
dinosaurs took all the headlines.
Yeah, they really did. They're the popular one. No one gives a fuck about the something butterfly. That's how much I know about animals that are extinct. If I really put my head to it, I could probably think of others. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, like I remember reading the article, and then there was a comment stated that, right, this actually would kind of compromise the progress of like dealing with like the real issue that matters, like climate change and things like that, right? Because they probably would be like, well, don't need to worry about the iceberg melting, right? Don't need to worry about the polar bear being extinct because we're gonna bring them back. Then like I don't know, right? I think that just feel free to use ChatGPT. Be nice, right? Just like we can bring them back in the future. I feel like that's it to me, just like, why are there such a big fascination of bringing things back instead of focusing on the
you
future?
are like, right, you just feel like this is a waste of time and money and resources, like who cares?
Yes.
JR, where are you at with de-extinction?
I think that anything that brings society closer to a Game of Thrones format is can't possibly go wrong.
But by the way, this is how important Game of Thrones is to the discussion, because the actual dire wolves, if you look them up online, they're very white. These cute dire wolf puppies that you can see the photos. But apparently the real dire wolves were probably not white. They were probably some other color. But in Game of Thrones, they made them white.
No, they're different colors in Game. They're not all white in Game of Thrones.
Not?
No, I think they have different ones.
Well, I don't know. This is from my reading of this article.
But you were going to make a point about them being white? Like they can't be white? Why they got to be white?
They probably weren't white, but because the popular or the main, well, didn't one dude have one main dire wolf buddy or whatever?
All of the Starks had a dire wolf.
Oh, that's right. All the Starks had. Okay, again, this is so important for the discussion. But the point is, they adjusted the color to meet the expectation of Game of Thrones viewers. Is what my point is about Colossal Biosciences. Also, the other funny thing is George R.R. Martin is one of their investors. To Colossal Biosciences, this one company that brought back the dire wolf. George R.R. Martin is one of their investors, in addition to Chris Hemsworth, Paris Hilton, and the CIA.
Wow. Normally you wouldn't put those four together.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd like
That's
to go to that.
That's the worst boy band ever right there.
They should open for like a K-pop band.
I think on a serious level with this, I'm not sure what the purpose of it is necessarily. And then how would it affect how would it affect nature itself?
Right.
If you've ever seen, there's this great video of I think it's Yellowstone or something, when they had gotten rid of a lot of wolves. So the gray wolf or whatever was basically going extinct in this certain space. And when they reintroduced the gray wolf into that space, the entire space, rivers, plants, all kinds of things, everything
Adjusted.
about it changed.
Yeah.
Because because of the food chain sort of thing. And so like there was nothing killing beavers, so everything was getting dammed up, and that kind of thing. And so nature is the way that it is because of nature itself. So when we come in fucking with nature, what effect is it going to have that we're not thinking about? So what is the purpose of bringing back a direwolf for a dodo bird?
Sure.
Who wants a dodo bird anyway? Dodo bird, that's like the dumb thing. That's like dodo birds were even dumb on like the Flintstones. Like you're a dodo.
Yeah. Are they actually dumb?
I don't know that they're. I don't know.
The cartoon
That's maybe
dumb.
why they're bringing them back to
So
save the name of the dodo
let's
bird.
just see if they were dumb or not. That's the main question that everybody wants to solve. The interesting thing is that that's right. Most of the scientists that have were interviewed in a piece that we read about this kind of said that this is not bringing back the dire wolf is not very useful, and that also it's like. They changed, there's 23 genes that they changed of a wolf, and then that's how they created it. It's not like they took a dire wolf DNA and did a clone or something.
Like they found an egg somewhere.
That hadn't hatched and they just hatched it. That's not how it worked.
Dire wolves come from eggs, right?
Yes, totally.
Yeah, okay.
There are no wombs involved. But where scientists are excited, and probably where I don't know what the CIA is in it for. It's the spy species.
What?
Implanting little tiny animals somewhere and getting some Chinese intel. I don't know what the CIA is in it for. But what they found is that where the science could be really compelling is in animals that are about to be extinct. So that's where human involvement could be cool.
You mean to save them from extinction?
Save them from extinction.
Which is what Ricky was kind of talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
But it also kind of makes you relax too much of we don't need to worry about what we're doing that's causing the
extinction,
this extinction, because we can just make them non-extinct, but that shit's still going to be happening.
Right. So that's grab me some more of that elephant ivory.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Sure. Right.
But Colossal Bioscience has it covered. Right. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Is there an animal in closing that you want them to do?
That I would like for them
you'd
to
like
bring
to see
back?
them to bring back, yeah.
Or we would have had to have done the research, and you got to go with T-Rex just to see
to see, right,
just
right.
It's kind of
Yeah.
It seems like it'd be exciting.
Is there something you'd like to bring back, Ricky?
So JR mentioned that dodo was kind of dumb. I actually like dumb animals. Like panda is dumb. Right? I want to see dumb animals just living and thriving. So yeah, maybe dodo.
Oh, by the way, I'd love to see a list of dumb animals. What are the dumb animals? I'd like to see a ranking. I don't know. Listeners out there, give me a list of dumb animals. This is my new dream.
Yeah, and let's not assume that human wouldn't be up on that list.
I know. Human would be up on number one.
Pretty high on the list. It's it's like chimpanzees, humans.
No, but then the humans are on that very dangerous other list that's dumb and dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's like the cross section of dumb and dangerous humans.
I find that the idea of dumb animals or something it's a fascinating subject. I love nature documentaries and whatever Tom Hanks is doing these days,
voicing these days.
Yeah, on Apple TV whenever anybody's talking about how whales communicate with each other, I'm just riveted.
Yeah. Why? How do they communicate with each other?
Through just sonar and sounds and
right.
and
It's
just the idea
language.
when they hunt very like sperm whales, they hunt very deep in the ocean where there's no light at all.
Yeah.
And it's all sonar.
Yeah.
And they can they can find an octopus by sonar and narrow in on it and dig it out of the thing and then come back up to feed their young, which they then have to find because the young can't go as deep as the other ones. And it's just there's nothing dumb about it. That is so wildly advanced. I mean I don't really know
if they
my
had
point
done
here,
that,
but I like
with a
whales. I guess
computer
it's fun to be a
screen.
whale. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Yeah, fun to be a whale.
Said it before. I'll say it again.
I'll say, and I'll throw one into the mix, which is, and I don't know if Tom Hanks has voiced this or not, but trees communicate through their root systems.
Yeah, it's not different trees. It's all one tree.
It's all
right?
one tree, and they fucking help each other, which is a little bit like the mushrooms in The Last of Us, which is like a little gross but also cool. They help each other and send, I don't know, stuff, nutrients, help, whatever, through the systems of roots. So
yeah, like many of them do, but there's one, like the largest tree in the world is like a forest.
Yeah.
But it's all considered like it's basically together, so it's one tree. But it's this huge
what I
forest
love is like
somewhere.
it's also sort of, it is like the basis of collective action, like union bargaining. Like we're all one. Like if you fuck with one, you fuck with all. It's also mob mentality.
It also makes
Trees
Avatar
have a
so
mob
much more real.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
It makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
You can look past a lot of things.
Well, art imitates life.
It really does.
All right, folks. My friends, that is the end of the show. And what a delightful conversation we had. And I would love for the people of Fake the Nation to be able to follow you and everything that you do. Ricky, where do they do that?
Sure, they can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky, Ricky Rick, RICK, and I have like you mentioned, I have the solo show coming up. Actually touring in Austin, May 16, 17, LA, May 31st, in Chicago, June 14, and then New York, Joe's Pub, July 18. Call coming out to that, people. Yes.
Folks, go see it, especially if you're in New York. You might run into me because I'm going to try very hard to go see it at Joe's Pub, which is one of my favorite places to go and see shows. So follow Ricky Rick wherever you do your social media-ing. And JR, where do they find you?
You know me, Negin. Rain, sleet, or snow. United States Postal Service.
Are you not? Are you on the social medias anymore?
I don't post a lot.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Are you excited? Is there anything you want them to do? The peoples?
I want them to go out and enjoy their lives and pick which animal they want to bring back from extinction.
Yeah. That's right.
And put some thought into it because the consequences could be dire.
Oh, that's right. And then Ricky and I would like you to list the top 10 dumbest animals. Okay, and folks, you know where to find me and everything that I do. I'm going to be in Philly, but that's not. Oh, never mind. There's dates on my website.
Now I'm gonna have to hang around the outskirts of Philly. Like, when can I dip my toe into one?
I'm in Philly doing a crazy project, which you will hear about because it's going to come out in video form. But but I forgot it's not like open to the public right now. Okay, but I will say that I want to thank everyone who makes the show a possibility. That's our excellent producer Andrew McGuire. Thanks to everyone at HeadGum. Thanks to Gaby Alter for our theme music. You can email us at fakethenationpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us all of your ideas. You can support us at patreon.com/Negin Farsad. And otherwise, we'll be back in your earballs next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.